Hello, good evening. A very, very warm welcome to everyone. And it's a great pleasure to open up this session today on the beauty and the beast, unlocking the greatness and power within. And a special warm welcome if you're new to Rajoka or Inner Space, Mama Kumaris. And it's so fascinating. I'd like to just share a quote. This is Maya Angelou. Say she's American poet. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. And that metaphor is often used in spirituality. Um, and it's a very interesting one because it's gone through a profound change, and beauty and beast are opposite. Also, sharing that we have these two sides. And so this is a discussion and presentation, but also we really invite your input because we're all on a journey in a sense. And we're going to be hearing from Patricia. She will be sharing on this. We first met actually online when we had a talk during lockdown. And then I had the pleasure to meet. We were in India. And I got this reassuring feeling from Patricia, someone who not only is wise with the philosophy, but is deeply imbibed some of the principles. So you just feel very much that you have an opportunity to meet someone who's got a lot of experience. So she nearly 30 years with the ideas of Raj Yoga from France, spent a long time in Spain, but now back in her native country in Paris. So it's it's like a kind of fireside chat feeling. It's great happiness that I'll be handing over to you, Patricia, and we'll hear from you and have a chance for dialogue. So yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Sarah, for the invitation. It is my honor and my pleasure. And good evening to everyone. So I found the introduction you made for me was quite very positive. But it is true that through Raj Yoga meditation practice, I have learned about myself a lot, quite a lot. And also, the more you understand yourself, the more you understand others also, which is a direct benefit, double benefit, we could say. I must admit the title is, I don't know if the title is beautiful or scary, because the beauty part is, of course, really lovely. But the beast part is, it's a strong word, isn't it? And indeed, I have been thinking about the beauty. But of course, if you start thinking about the beauty, about the inner beauty we all have in ourselves, we realize that this beauty is not always present in our life, not always active, and not always visible. And sometimes we realize when we observe ourselves that there are also many shadows. So I suppose Sarah has been thinking about some questions, because I think we will have a conversation about that, and also with you. So you're invited. You're most welcome to share your thoughts. Of course, I think it's good to start with the beauty, because one of the first things I discovered when I started the Raj Yoga course about 30 years ago now in Spain, I discovered that beyond the physical person, the character I was, and beyond all the roles, etc., I was a spiritual being. what we say, what we call the soul, the conscious being. It means beyond the physical aspect, we are a very subtle being of consciousness. And this very subtle being, because we cannot see our thoughts, we cannot touch our thoughts, our feelings, but they are very present. So when I realized I was this conscious being, of course, I always knew I was a conscious being, but I had more information and more experiences about the soul and about this inner world. And yes, I realized also that there are two worlds: the world, the physical world, where we enjoy, where we walk, where we play our roles, but we have this inner sanctuary, our inner world, and this is where the beauty lies. And through meditation, we are invited to experience this inner beauty, because we all long for beauty. I mean, we can call it beauty, we can call it achievements, we can call it perfection, we can call it balance, but we all long for wisdom, inner strength, joy, love, happiness. And if we should describe what beauty is, this would be all this list of inner qualities we have in ourselves. So we can call them values, principles, virtues, powers, but this is what creates beauty. And this inner beauty we all possess in ourselves. This is who we are, actually. We are pure consciousness and these qualities or this beauty. And this beauty is actually our inner original nature, our true nature. Also, something I really appreciated when I discovered that is that our original nature is only beautiful and pure. So we are made of light, of love, of wisdom, strength, peace, etc. And the duality that interferes in our life, which comes and create shadows and sometimes the beast, I mean, the negative aspects that come up sometimes, and sometimes we're even surprised. But we are not a double being. We have some shadows inside ourselves, but our true nature, our original nature, is beautiful, is pure, which is very important to know that, because we should not identify to the beast or to the defects or to the weaknesses or to the shadows. Yes, the shadows are here due to some circumstances in life. This happens, the shadows come when we forget ourselves, when we forget who we are, when we become distracted sometimes by the external world, by the relations, and so we become how would we say? We lose touch with our inner strength and beauty, and then we go to, we take other paths, or we get influenced, or we have expectations or anger, etc. But these weaknesses or these shadows are only temporary, and we can correct them, we can transform them. And actually, it's also not about fighting against my shadow. It is about embracing it, accepting it, and understanding that there may be a wound or some fear behind that. And so with the energy of love, understanding, we can do a lot of deep work with ourselves. So this is, for me, this is the path I have been following for all these years, but also what will give us strength to awaken this inner beauty. And it is not a beauty to become too proud or arrogant, you know, about, because this is a spiritual beauty. And this spiritual beauty is actually everything the world needs. So what does the world need? The world needs happiness, the world needs love, peace, understanding, generosity, justice, good feelings, you know, and wisdom, of course, because it's not only about happiness and love. We also need some wisdom, you know, because we live in a world that, and we have to understand how it works and to be able to make it work properly, and with being fair with everybody, with all the living beings. So we of course need to develop this inner beauty. Is also made of wisdom, of important tools of you know, like tolerance and discernment, and knowing how to rule yourself. We also learned something very interesting in the Raja Yoga meditation, is that the more you know how to rule yourself, the more you will be able to be a wise person with the rest, in the rest of the world. You know, you will be able to administrate your life and to be a fair person, a righteous person, you know, who is who has an equal vision of everyone, and who has the quality of empathy. So it's all about discovering this inner beauty, experiencing it, and creating this feeling the inner strength of my, because my inner world is like a sanctuary. So sanctuary, I like this word because it has a sacred feeling. And our inner world is very sacred, because this is a very private space where the consciousness lies and is waiting for us to visit and to think about the deep meaning of life, about what I have to learn to understand what life is about, to understand, to give meaning to my life. And sometimes we see in the world that the world has become, I think, very materialistic, you know, very much based on glamour and consumption and, you know, look and anyway, very materialistic. No, we have become consumers. And the more we consume outside, the more we become far from this inner sanctuary, and we become lost. There is a risk we lose ourselves. And we may lose many things. We may even lose people, but the only person we shouldn't lose is ourselves, because we are precious, and because we are also walking, you know. Life is a beautiful journey, isn't it? But sometimes some shadows come, some obstacles come, and we have to face them, and we have to overcome them, and we have to bring light to our shadow, because I think shadow, the word beast is a bit extreme. Sometimes maybe it is appropriate, but we can start with shadow. And our shadows make us feel sadness or depression, or that our life is unfulfilled. And this is not a nice feeling. So the more we do for ourselves, for our inner world, for our spiritual health, it's about care and respect also for ourselves, because we are extremely precious. And so I think spirituality in general, and Raja Yoga meditation in specifically, because here this is what we know best and what we practice, then it's, I'm sure many of you already know about that and already practice. But it is, for me, I have experienced that, when I did the course 30 years ago, I had the feeling that I had found a treasure. A treasure. And the treasure is something big, and it takes time to discover it, to understand what the treasure is about. And it can take one life, to go to the end of it. And maybe probably there would be even more to be discovered. But we have our life, with our job, with our responsibilities, our friends, our family. But we also have this work to do, which is about discovering this treasure of inner beauty, and visiting often this sanctuary. And the more we visit our inner world, our inner sanctuary, the more we will develop tools to transform the beast or the shadows, to bring light to our shadows, and even sometimes to heal our wounds, because shadows are also our wounds. Life is such an interesting journey, but it's not always an easy one. And so we need to develop many tools to not only to move forward, but also to understand ourselves better, to become strong, and to cooperate with ourselves, to care for ourselves, because we cannot expect others to do that work. Of course, good company is important, but there is one job or one work that I cannot give to anyone except to myself. I don't know if I should carry on, or if you would like Sarah to already have some, I don't know, questions or commentaries, or if you would like to add something.
Well, I'm really enjoying the way it's developing, and also sharing your journey, which I can resonate with, like finding a treasure also with this ideas. So, and I suppose it's just developing it further, isn't it? That we can only help ourselves, as you said. And, this is a quote: to be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to make you something else is a great accomplishment. So, this really, everyone's trying their best, but we're kind of as if constantly trying to please people and trying to feel secure through the things that we are doing. And then, as you said, we're constantly pulled out, we're consuming all the time. So it's a very revolutionary idea. And what you mentioned, sanctuary, is a positive word. So maybe it'd be nice to, and I'm sure you were probably going to develop on this, these stories like Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, even Ugly Duckling, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. But there are also ancient stories, and even in Hinduism, I understand there's the idols which are ugly. They also become they're beautiful. They become ugly. And Greek, they've got their Medusa, other images. So there may be something got very deep being referred to about the human spirit. So it'd be nice to also understand how to dissect out the beautiful side from the ugly, or from the kind of the sorrow, unhappiness, where we become unhappy and then we give that unhappiness to others. You know, what is the philosophy that's helped you on this journey? Because it doesn't always feel like an inner sanctuary when we go inside. So yeah.
Yeah, the sanctuary sometimes is not so sacred, and it's a bit in a mess. And because of course we experience also a lot of we have a lot of emotions, expectations, fears, doubts about ourselves, lack of self-esteem. So all this catalog, make us sometimes have many expectations about others. Sometimes I've seen that we expect others to give us our value. I mean, if you're not if you don't have this inner security, you will try to please others because you need to be accepted, you need to belong to a community, to a group, etc. And sometimes you will do things that actually are not corresponding to your inner nature or to your values. But sometimes it's like you lose yourself because you try to please others, but you've gone beyond your own principles, for instance. And sometimes also because we are disconnected from this inner sanctuary, so we expect others to put us to give us a note, or to value us, because we are not sure ourselves of our own value. So it creates a lot of games and a lot of expectations and fears and apprehension, and it's exhausting. And so the ego is also playing many tricks, because sometimes we build this character, trying to please and trying to conform ourselves to people expectations or to public opinion, etc. And it creates a being who is very uncomfortable with himself and not happy. And I don't think we can either cheat. I mean, our discomfort or unhappiness is not I don't think really convincing either. So we lose on both sides. So I think anyway it requires courage, because maybe not everybody is walking a spiritual path or is doing meditation. Many people are very busy with the world and working and consuming, and maybe they're happy. I mean, it's only about myself, because everybody has got the right to live their own way, and I think everybody has got his own moment to have some realizations, or that it is time for me. I want a change in my life. I want a deep change in my life. I'm not satisfied. When I started meditation 30 years ago, it's not that I was unhappy, but I was feeling that something extremely important was escaping, that I was missing something very important, extremely important in life, and that I hadn't found yet. I didn't know what it was. I didn't have the word spiritual or God or whatever. No. It was only like I had a deep realization that you're missing something very important in life. I had no idea what it was. And to that point that I did twice round the world journey. I went with my backpack, I quit my job. So I really took it very seriously. And I did a very long trip, you know, once it was 1 year, and the second time, 1.5 years, looking, searching, you know. There was this inner quest, because I think this quest, as you were saying, since antiquity, you say, or ancient times, you know, there has been this quest for truth, for your own truth, for answers who give meaning to life, you know, and also devils and monsters and shadows who run after you, who you know, who block your way. So of course, this duality has been with us for a very long time, although it is not, I think, our original nature, but this duality, which means peace and the contrary of peace, and love and the contrary of love, and justice and injustice, and love and war, etc. This duality, we find it like something that we cannot that is part of our life. It's like we have maybe the belief sometimes that I am made of peace and war. I'm made of love and hate, etc., etc. Of this imbalance, and we always, you know, going from one side to the other side. And this is why this quest has been since very ancient times, and has given many scriptures and novels and you know, stories and even dramas, theater pieces, etc. But it's the human quest, you know, going back to our inner wisdom, original wisdom. Because what I love also is that this original wisdom and beauty is not only very nice to be in that experience, but this wisdom is sustaining life. Life and our systems, you know, are being sustained by these values, principles, spiritual laws. So this is why they are so important, and we have this deep quest, you know, this deep search, because they give meaning to life and they sustain life. It's not only becoming more beautiful inside, which is, of course, very important, because my life is all what I have. Then I share many things with others, but everything starts here. And then what this inner beauty, this inner wisdom, this greatness, we can also say, again, this is what we are going, if we cultivate it, if we grow it, this inside, this is what we will have to offer to the world. So this is also my part, my contribution. And if I contribute, bringing my light and my wisdom to the world, sharing, you know, in a simple way. It's not I'm going to make big, you know, conferences on that. No, it is in my everyday life. You know, what do I share throughout my how I look people, through my vision? How do I look at people? What do I see in them? Do I see their beauty, or do I see their weaknesses, their darkness, their shadows, you know? What is attracting me? Because, of course, I understand this is our, we all have our weaknesses and our shadows, and sometimes the beast, yes. But I should also, of course, understand my own shadows. But when I look at others, my vision, I think, should be generous, respectful, and benevolent, because this is also how I can help others you know, to become better also. They will find their way to become better. It's not myself who is going to make them better, but with a, a positive and benevolent vision, which is also non-violent vision, I will help others to find their own way, because this is like sharing light, sharing positivity. And so this is, and like when I go into a room, you know, I come into a room. What do I bring? Only my body, you know, I push the door and I enter, here I am. But what else do I bring? Okay, my body is in this room now, but what vibration, what is my presence, you know? Is it a presence of joy, of peace, you know, of respect, a smile, kind words, you know, to the people who are in this room? So what do I bring? This is invisible, but this is the most important. The visible is easy to understand. The visible, you know, we can touch, we can see, etc. But the invisible is what makes the difference in the atmosphere, you know, in how people will feel. So the invisible gives value to life and creates security and healthy atmospheres that will help people to become who they are or who they want to become, you know. So I also like this very much. Even also like when we do actions, you know, because we live in a world, okay, we consume a lot and we do a lot. I'm so busy, I'm so busy. I'm doing this, this, and this, and I've done this, etc., etc. Always doing, which is okay, good. But the most important also, what gives value to what I do is how I do things, you know. The how is even more important than the what. So how do I do things, you know, with respect, with love, with good wishes, with, you know, with a still mind. And again, this is what gives value to what I do. And when I give value to what I do, I give value to my life. Because we can do a doer, you know, a doer of many, many things, you know. But will I feel satisfied with that? It's not enough to feel fulfilled and satisfied at the end of the day. What really will give me a feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction, deep inner satisfaction, is if I have expressed my inner being, if I have expressed feelings, values, qualities, you know. So, because then our soul, who is like sitting in the forehead, you know, like we call it sometimes the third eye, but anyway, the spiritual being I am, being of light, peace, love, and wisdom, is sitting here. And actually, all my energy is contained in this soul. My body is a wonderful costume. It can walk, it can run, can digest, sometimes need to sleep, rest, speak, do things. Okay. But what is the living energy? Living and conscious energy, giving life to my body and expressing its qualities, its feelings, and kind words, you know. Who is looking through these eyes? It is I, the conscious being, the soul. So there is a lot of this inner treasure. We can share it, you know, just to make it flow in our life, to make it alive, because if my soul is not alive, then I am a robot. I will be, you know, I will not be very happy with my life. And then also this is because it is the most precious energy, you know, this energy that sustains life. You know, in the whole world, everybody is looking for the same things. Some look for happiness, some look for peace, some look for love, whoever. Some look for security, you know. And all this is contained in this tiny star of light, you know, in this tiny dot of conscious energy. So the treasure is very small, is infinitesimal, but it is very precious. So the more, also something very interesting is that the more we grow, the more we visit, we take some time to, you know, to spend time with us, to visit this inner sanctuary. And then we will be experiencing the beauty within this sanctuary, or the beauty of the soul. And the more we recognize this beauty, the more we will experience it, and the more we will give it life, because give life to it. Because our thoughts, it's something also very interesting. Our thoughts are the most powerful energy in the world. Everything we see in the world started with a thought, you know. The humanitarian projects, the wars, everything starts with a thought, you know. And then if we give energy to our thoughts, it will become a reality. What I think, when I give energy to that, a kind of thought, it will grow and it will become a reality. So the more I focus my energy, sometimes going inwards, you know, into my inner world, and then I focus my thoughts on my inner qualities, then not only I will recognize them, I will experience them, but they will grow. They will become more, you know. So the more I meditate in this soul consciousness of this inner treasure, the more it will grow. So not only do I have a treasure inside, but I can make this treasure grow and grow. And you know, there is no limit, because is there any limit to love? Is there any limit to peace? Is there any limit to wisdom, to inner strength? No. The limits or the limitations, we put them ourselves, you know, because we've got the idea that we were small, you know, that we were little. I don't know where this idea came from, you know, but because we we lost sight of who we are actually. Of course, we are simple, you know. It's not about being extravagant or arrogant, but all the beauty we need is in the soul. And something also, you know, thinking, if you want to speak, Sarah, just cut me. But, you know, something also that I find very interesting, I think for me, life is also not only an experience, not only a journey, but it's also an art, you know. We are artists. We are artists of our life. And our tools or our colors or our music notes are the soul's qualities, the qualities of the soul, you know. It's like if you think about the colors, you know, you have 3 basic colors. And with 3 basic colors, you have the rainbow. Isn't it extraordinary? So you have, with 3 colors, you can create all the nuances of a rainbow. All the colors you can imagine start with the 3 colors. And with the light, you know, the light of the sun. So with the light of the soul, and when we go inwards and start focusing and thinking and using our inner qualities, well, they will become this beauty we were talking about, you know. And same for music, you know. You have 7 notes of music, and we have thousands of symphonies, you know. So we have our qualities. We have 5 main qualities in the soul. And it's unimaginable how much we can create with that. This is all the energy that will make us happy, will make us feel fulfilled, that will give us inner strength, something that we can share. This beauty is not only for me, it is to be shared to the world. But when we have a lot, we become rich. We become very rich internally. And somebody who is rich has a lot to share. It doesn't, if somebody doesn't give me back what I've been giving, no problem, because I have plenty, So
I think that takes great wisdom, doesn't it?
Mm.
And what you were sharing about, well, it made me think that we all have our own time. And that I think for myself, and I resonated with your story, I also left my job and changed my career, went to the other side of the world,
Yeah.
was teaching just as an excuse to stay away from the UK, but I definitely had a quest. And similarly, the word spirituality wasn't in my dictionary. I don't think I'd ever said that word. So it's good that now in the culture it's starting to be a little bit more present, because if there's no light shining on the concept of an inner world, it's very difficult to navigate. But still, we do find what we need, I think, when we start to look, and obviously we're here. So that was interesting, and this very nice just to think this one aspect, what energy am I bringing into a space? And that we are creators. And we often are looking, what is happening here, but the quality of the invisible, what we are carrying. That's why I went into interior design, by the way, because I felt I wanted to create atmosphere, but then I later realized it's the being that does that. So yeah, it really resonate. I think what was coming up for me is courage, because one of the qualities, maybe it comes from wisdom, but it's counterculture to perhaps realize there's a great power that we have. We have perhaps our experiences become a source of inspiration. But it reminded me of this quote made famous by Nelson Mandela and, of course, by Marianne Williamson, that our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. And that's quite fascinating, because there is a deep beauty. So she says it's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So what do you think's going on there? Is it that we have a light, but it's shrouded by ego that doesn't want to challenge that status quo? Interesting to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, maybe we have a confusion between greatness and beauty and strength or power, because these are big words, But we also have ego, and sometimes maybe we fear that developing my greatness or my beauty or my strength is a sign of ego, maybe. Maybe sometimes our spirituality is not enough awakened, and we believe that also sometimes religions say we have to be humble, etc. And what I discovered with the Raja Yoga is that you can be humble and great. And we have a good example in the Brahma Kumaris University. We had Daddy Janki, who was our director for many years, and she was a great yogi. And she died when she was 144 years old. And she had a lot of inner greatness, She had really developed this inner beauty, this inner power, inner strength. And but she was also very humble. So what I like also in spirituality, in the world, in materialistic world, if you're humble, sometimes you will even, like bow your head, or religions have told us that we have to be humble, and which is okay. But humility is not being subservient, is about respecting yourself, and also knowing your value. Humility is not about ignoring your values. So I think, some beliefs, maybe some wrong beliefs, have made us believe that this greatness, maybe also we had lost touch with it, but also sometimes maybe that what am I going to do with so much greatness? I mean, then I have to work because, if we have, you cannot be lazy if you realize you have greatness inside you. You cannot be lazy. You cannot be complacent. You have to work. You have to start working. And I was going to say something, but I forgot. Yes. I liked when you said that it also mentioned the word courage. And I don't know if you're aware of it, out of all the human emotions, somebody has measured them. You know that our thoughts are vibrations and our emotions are also vibrations. And these vibrations can be measured, So they have been measuring the whole range of vibrations, from the negative ones in the cellar, in the basement, in the dark, and to the highest, the most elevated, So the most, the lowest emotions were like shame, regret, lack of self-esteem, etc. And on the top, on the, how do you say, up, you have joy, you have love, you have bliss, these emotions, extremely strong, also powerful. So it goes from 20 maybe to 1,000, the measurement. And I discovered that in the middle you had courage. It was in the middle of the, ladder, let's say. And I realized that if you have courage, the courage is the first step to go up, to start climbing, to leave the cellar and the basement where it's dark, where you have all the spider webs, etc., from your old stories, old beliefs, old wounds, etc. Of course, you have to do something with that. But meditation will help you to bring light, understanding, and to heal. But you need that step of courage. At some point, you have to say, okay, go, And I thought it was so interesting, that courage takes you to a new chapter in your life.
It's like a catalyst.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone put it there, when we register for something like a database and you get an email saying, are you sure you want to join? And then you click. So it's called double opt-in. So it feels like we have to opt in to this. It's there, but you have to you have to click into it, as it were.
Yeah.
And I think it's coming back to what you said right at the beginning, that what we are learning is that it's already there, but we need to re-access it.
Mm.
That was powerful for me when I first came across these ideas. I sensed they were just words. Part of me was just dismissing it because some cautious skepticism was always there. I don't know why. But the words were something around you have everything within you and you don't need to be completed by the outside. And I sensed a shift in how I felt just from words. And I thought this is very powerful. So just going into those details, then to at some point have to make a jump, maybe it'd be interesting to hear how you see this, because part of us, the dark, doesn't want, it's a comfort zone, or better the devil you know than the angel you don't, if you want to put it that way. So do you feel in some ways we have to suspend our judgment and yeah, creating time, but also operating from there? You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's true that you have to leave your comfort zones, because sometimes, although it's not pleasant, but you're used to it's like a quilt, of that depression or sadness, and you identify with your story also, because, things have happened. I mean, I'm not making up stories, Maybe I've had some difficult situations. I have my wounds, maybe some traumas, etc. So, of course, there is some hurt. But sometimes it becomes like a quilt, and I identify myself with my story. And sometimes I have no idea that I can create a new story or a new chapter. Of course, I identify with my story, with my past, and I will do things my spiritual path will help me to heal that. But then I can create a new chapter, or a new me, or free myself. But it takes courage, and it takes power of will, and big jump, because when we are in our comfort zones, we become weaker and weaker, and the air is always the same, you breathe the same air all the time, and you don't get energy and vitamins. So it requires a real, it's a decision, it's interesting that Sarah and myself, we chose to go on a trip, on a journey, which is, I didn't remember, you had also gone traveling, etc. And for some others, it will be take a break at work, or, but I can't remember what the question was, Sarah, but indeed, it takes a step of courage. And what is amazing, we speak also about the plasticity of the brain, and also the plasticity in general of our personality and who we are. Because what we think, I mean, the energy, the creative energy is your thought, So you're going to focus your energy on what you decide. And then we have in ourselves all this beauty. They are the most precious ingredients, in life. The most precious ingredients in the human consciousness that can reach, sky and heaven, everywhere. There is no limit to where you want to go. And also, something that is important, I realize also that if your thoughts are very narrow and limited, then life will give you what fits in this, matchbox. Life will give you what fits in your vision, in your, present life, because this is what you are open to. But if you take this step of courage and you start working on yourself and breathing and leaving the comfort zone and leaving the blanket, where you're like almost dizzy, because your thoughts are, like cyclic and turning around, etc. But the more you open yourself, and the more you use your positive qualities, life will respond. This is also something extraordinary, because life is life. but it is also an intelligence, you know. And life responds to what we give to life. If we start awakening and being more generous, you know, and opening our heart, opening our eyes, our vision, you know, if we start giving, life will give us 1,000 times more, you know. So the more I grow and I open myself, the more space I'm creating for life to fill this space, you know. And I will start discovering the greatness, because not only have I greatness inside, but there is greatness in life, you know, and there is magic in life. If I'm always in my small circle, you know, in my comfort zones, I will never discover the beauty, the magic, and of life, you know, and the greatness of life. And life, I mean, I can believe I have some limitations that they will slowly disappear. But it's also beautiful to have a relation not only with myself, with others, but also with life, you know. And that gives another dimension to my life and gives me strength, courage, and the little step I will give, life will encourage me, you know, like when a little child starts walking, you know, his parents encourage him. One step, you know, and the more I start walking, you know, towards life and opening myself, life will encourage me. And this encouragement will indicate me that this is the right path, you know. It's not that I'm going, I don't know, I'm walking or doing something, but I have no idea where I'm going. Maybe at the beginning, you know, but then life will give me encouragement and will confirm, yes, you have chosen the right way. You're going on the right path, you know. There is also this inner wisdom, like also in the form of intuition, that is guiding me also. It's wonderful. And then you feel so thankful because you have discovered the greatest secrets in life, I think. These are great secrets. And it's worth making small efforts, you know, according to my time, to my rhythm, to my capacity, to my courage. We don't have to have the courage of a hero, you know, but little steps, you know. And I start, I start. And then once, you know, it's like when you go to the gym. At the beginning, you're a bit broken or not very fit, etc. But the more you practice, and then muscles appear. So same for life, you know. We have to develop our spiritual muscles, courage, and also we have this wonderful partner that is life.
Absolutely. And I was just thinking as well.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was just thinking when for some, the courage is also to not change the outside, because actually in some ways to go somewhere else, we think that's courage, but sometimes we have to stay but transform the attitude. And you mentioned vision earlier, and I really found that very simple, very clear. And that's also a measurer, isn't it? That, you know, how we are seeing ourselves first and then others. And these little efforts, for example, boss at work would rather change the job, but maybe we can't, but to change the attitude, vision, and take responsibility for my own feelings is quite courageous. But then you might observe, I remember one speaker was sharing, he had meditated, but he said, oh, this is a free workshop in advanced communication skills. So he's like changing it to be something he could learn. So the courage there was outer form might be he's getting criticized and maybe in front of the office, maybe ridiculed, but He was keeping his own inner beauty. That was more important.
Yeah.
And keeping the vision of respect to the boss, even though he wasn't being given any respect. So in time, it changed, and really so beautifully put that life will give you that clue that you're kind of on the right track, and the harmony, because beauty is also about harmony, isn't it? And beautiful face is usually a symmetrical one, physical sense. And when we feel that balance, harmony, symmetry of feelings are, it feels good. So we get the clue that we're on the right track. So yeah, it's a beautiful journey. And maybe one more thing that came up is keeping company of others, someone we can connect with that has a similar idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we come to time. It was like a dance to hear your sharing. Maybe we can have this one question, and then after maybe some commentary would be great. But this question, how do you keep your heart open? So,
How do you keep your heart open? Yeah. It's about, yeah, because sometimes our wounds or feeling of hurt or deception have closed our heart or have hurt our heart. And so there is some fear of being hurt again, or we have given up, I don't want, I've closed myself. So, yeah, it's how to light the flame of love into your heart. I think maybe it's about loving yourself, because love is wonderful, but where does love start? I think it starts here. Normally we expect love from others, we want to love others, etc. But sometimes we forget that it is important also to love ourselves. And sometimes to love ourselves means or to accept how we are, or to forgive ourselves for some mistakes, etc. And but sometimes it's connected with low self-esteem, and when we've been hurt, or when we've been a bit damaged, or we've had a series of negative experiences, the heart has closed itself. So I think maybe try about loving yourself. Also myself, I have my personal connection also with a source of energy, spiritual source of energy, as being of energy, being of light and peace and love. I also connect with a spiritual source of energy. So this is also something that for me is also helpful. But anyway, I think if you don't find it too difficult, I think if there is love, if you start giving life to love for yourself, I think automatically there will be more love in your life. Because we cannot give or feel what we don't have. So this is also something very deep. I mean, it's not difficult to understand, but you have to, to have this formula. So before, I think it could start with yourself, and start accepting yourself. How do you see yourself? What do you give to yourself? Do you give yourself care, attention, some time, good thoughts, being kind and soft and sweet for yourself. Not complacent, but soft, kind, sweet, non-judgmental. Because sometimes we are a bit harsh. I don't know if this is okay for you, for the person who has asked the question.
Yeah, they wrote thank you. I think they might write more. The quality is very clear, and perhaps it comes back to, you know, when we perhaps are so focused outside, we have so much beauty, we just haven't had the chance to re-emerge it.
Yeah.
Taking that sweetness from others' approval, or
Yeah.
But and I liked, you know, this connection with the spiritual, sort of a parent or whatever you in the Raja Yoga philosophy. It's a very key part that comes, but that that is a safe connection, also, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a stability, whereas human beings are all in their process. So I know, for me, that kind of caution perhaps has come from experience, and maybe we need to connect deeply with ourselves and feel full before we come into those relationships. So there's more, not with expectations and things. Yeah, she says very helpful.
Oh, thank you. Good.
We can put into practice quite a few things that were mentioned today, and one certainly is seeing life as an art. That creates joy, actually, and art is about beauty, isn't it? So making life beautiful through seeing that our thoughts, how valuable we are using them. They are kind of the tools, and vision as well, you mentioned. And being aware of the shadows, but not getting the fear, but knowing that working in that, back at the truth will be when you work on the light, shadows naturally reduce. It's very nice. So if you have anything final to share, and then maybe a couple of minutes of commentary would be nice to have. Thank you.
So the last words. Yeah, I think it's okay to have shadows, but it's also beautiful to realize this light and this beauty inside us. But of course, we have to, you know, we are so accustomed. It's so easy to live in the world and to to be in this awareness that we get. I mean, we see, we touch, we feel, you know, we are very much in the physical world. But there is another world that I can only experience through meditation, through my thoughts. The vehicle is my thoughts, you know, and I journey inwards. So it's very important to have the balance between living in this world, working and doing what I have to do in this world, but also visiting frequently, which means every day, my inner world. Because otherwise my life will be unbalanced, you know? So there has to be this balance. In the world, I cannot change anything because people do what they want and situations come and go, etc. But in my own world, I am the one who decides how I want to live my life, what I want to grow, what I want to make strong, you know? And this, the more I develop my inner tools, you know, this inner beauty, it will create also like an aura of positive energy around myself, you know, because thoughts are an energy, love is an energy, peace is an energy. So all this positive spiritual energy is the most powerful energy in the world. And the more I grow this inner energy, the more it will create like a bubble of positive energy around my body, you know? Because sometimes we feel hurt because somebody has talked to me in a harsh way. We are hurt by many things because this world is not very easy, I must say. And so when we hurt, we become weak. We are weakened. So something also very important is not only generate this energy within your inner world, but also to understand that the more I grow and generate this positive energy, it will create an aura, a space of positive energy around my body, you know? And this is a protection. This is my protection, you know? I am connected with the world and with others, but I am protected by this aura, or how would you call it, energetic field, you know? I create an energetic field of peace, stability, love, good wishes, you know, and light. So I become bigger, you know? I've got my body, but I am creating around myself, around my body, a sphere of positive energy that will protect me. You know, the arrows won't touch me directly. The arrows will stop where the sphere starts, you know. So this is my protection of light and peace. So I feel safe, you know, in the energy that belongs to me, because I am creating it, you know. It is part of me. It is invisible. What is visible is my body. What is invisible is my strength and my protection. So this is something also that is quite important.
I think it's very essential, actually, because hearing from others who are in places where there is war or upheaval, different reasons, it's not so much what is happening, that's one thing, but it's the atmosphere created by the collective, you know, the stress or the sorrow, the anger. So it's like we're always creating something, we're contributing to something, and this is a protection to create a safe space for the self and also others, to invite the option, just giving the option for another way of being that is from the security which transcends circumstances. It's just, even the idea is powerful. So yeah, it's very profound, actually. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the question also. So yeah, we've had this great chance. We can have a moment or two of silence. I will just maybe share before we do that we have an online talk in about 8 days, thriving with lightness and happiness amidst modern health challenges, and we're going to be joined by Dr. Namrata and Dr. Bashant, and it'll be presentation of practical aspects, but also how it leads to the inner health as well as physical health. So it'll be nice to let you know. Feel free to share with your connections. So it's been so joyful. It's not just the words, it's your presence and your sharing experience and inspiration. Thank you very much for joining this evening and creating this time. And if you want to share, maybe someone can just share some silence as you wish. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so while we are sitting comfortably all together, we can connect to this special place, special and sacred space within us. There is a sanctuary inside, a place of light, wisdom, and peace. This is a place where only I have the key. This is a very private space where I can think about important things in life. Where I can connect with the purest part of myself, and the most precious. This image in front of my eyes reminds me that I am a being of light. And this light is not only light, this light has eternal qualities. All the beauty is merged in this tiny star of consciousness. This is my beautiful garden of light, where I can look after my inner beauty and then share it with the world. I remember I am light and peace. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Om Shanti. Thanks to all for joining, for your presence. Thank you, Patricia. Look forward to welcoming you again and maybe seeing you also. We might have a chance to meet. Till next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.